Okay, so in this video we're going to do polynomial long division of a fraction with a variable x. And this is quite a long one, so it's got two ways of doing it. So in this video I've got one way of showing you. Check the description below, there'll be a video of another way of doing this same calculation. See which one you prefer, let me know. So we've got a fraction here with many terms in the numerator and x squared minus 2 in the denominator, and there's varying different powers and coefficients on the top. So the first thing we need to do is arrange them in order of indices. So the indices here are 6, 3, 2, 4, 5. So we arrange them in numerical order, and in the denominator obviously the x squared is the one we're interested in, so that will go first. So we set that out first like this. So you've got x squared minus 2, and then I've arranged these, as you can see, in order of power. So that's how we set them out, like that. Okay, so what do we do first? So first of all, we choose this term first, 2x to the power of 6. And what we do is we're going to divide that by this term here, x squared, put the result in the quotient, which is on the top. That will give us our quotient. Then on the bottom we'll have a tallying remainder, and in that tallying remainder at the bottom, the result here in the quotient will then distribute with the x squared and the minus 2. So let's see how it goes. Let's show you what we mean. So first term, 2x to the power of 6. So 2x to the power of 6 divided by x squared gives us 2x to the power of 4. And you see I've moved that along the line in line with the x to the power of 4 value here, so it's easy to read. Okay, so now we've got the 2x to the 4. We're now going to distribute that with the x squared and the minus 2. So 2x to the 4 times x squared is 2x to the 6, and 2x to the 4 times minus 2 is minus 4x to the 4. And you see again I've lined that up with the same like power and x value. So x to the 4, x to the 4. So we've got them all nicely lined up. Same here with the x to the 6. And then what we're going to do is this little remainder here, we're then going to subtract all of these terms here from these terms. So you see I put a minus sign there. So 2x to the 6 minus 2x to the 6 disappears, so we don't put anything there. This one is basically minus 0, so that will just come straight down. 3x to the 4 minus 4x to the 4 gives us positive 7x to the 4. And again, these last three terms have all got an imaginary 0 there. So 4x cubed minus 0, same again, same again, same again. So basically we just bring them down when we have a blank. Okay, so that's what we got now. So now we move on to the second term, which is 4x to the power of 5. That's our second term in there. Okay, so now what do we do? So I've rewritten each one so you can see what's going on. So here's our first one that we did here. So we just ignore that one for now. We're moving on to this one here. So 4x to the 5 divided by x squared gives us 4x cubed. And it's a positive 4x cubed, so we write that in the quotient. And again, as we did before, we then get this 4x to the cubed, multiply it by each of these terms. So 4x cubed times x squared gives us 4x to the power of 5, which goes here. And then 4x cubed times minus 2 gives us minus 8x cubed, which then goes here next to the x cubed. So again, all the powers all line up, all similar powers. And again, we subtract this from our running total for our remainder. So 4x to the 5 minus 4x to the 5 cancels. This one straight down. 4x cubed minus 8x cubed, that's the 12. And then these come straight back down. Okay, so now we move on to the third term, which will be 3x to the power of 4. So let's show you what we've done here. So, as I did before, I brought these down here for you to have a look to, to go again, but you can just do it all in one go like I've done here. You can carry on all the way down. So the third term, 3x to the power of 4. 3x to the power of 4 divided by x squared gives us 3x squared. So that's what we put then in the quotient. So 3x squared, we then multiply it by x squared and minus 2. So 3x squared times x squared and minus 2 will give us 3x to the 4 and minus 6x squared. And as we did before, we just then subtract them to give us our running total for our remainder. So 7x to the 4 minus 3x to the 4 gives us 4x to the 4. 12x cubed minus 0 just comes straight down. And 2 minus 6 gives 8, so that's 8x squared. And the 6x comes down. Okay, so now we move on to the fourth term, which is 4x cubed. So you see here is 4x cubed. And as I did before, I've put everything in here all as we did before. So I've included all this that we've already worked out. So on the bottom, this is our new bit. So here we go. 4x cubed is our fourth term. Divide that by x squared. We then get 4x, which then goes in the quotient. The 4x then gets distributed with the x squared minus 2. And that's then going to give us 4x cubed and minus 8x. 4x times minus 2 is minus 8x. 4x times x squared, 4x cubed. And as before, we're then going to subtract these from our running total for our remainder, which gives us 4x to the 4 plus 8x cubed plus 8x squared plus 14x. 12 and 4 is 16. 16x cubed. 12 minus 4 is 8x cubed. 6 minus 8 is 14. So that's how we get to that. Okay, so now we move to the fifth term, which is 2x squared. So just to show you how we get to this one, so 2x squared divided by x squared just gives us 2. And we don't have any units in here at all, so just single integers. So I've just left that on the right hand side there on its own. So the plus 2 goes there. And then the plus 2 will then get distributed with the x squared and the minus 2. So then we'll have to, on the bottom of our remainder, 2x squared, 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. So we'll have a 2x squared and minus 4 to subtract again. So here we go. There we go. See if we can find it. Here it is. So 2x squared minus 4. All the other calculations are here. So you can see it goes on for quite a while. So it's a good question, this one. Crack this one, you've solved it. 4x to the 4, nothing. Bring it down, bring it down. 2, 8 minus 2 is 6. 14, nothing. Bring it down. And 0, so this is where you've got to be careful now. So here you'll have an imaginary 0, as you have here. But here, instead of subtracting it, here you're subtracting from it. So 0 minus 4 gives positive 4. So very important to get that plus 4 in there. Okay, so now going back to our original question here, we now know the 6x here, we cannot divide that by x squared minus 2 because the power of the x is less than the x squared. So now we go to the remainder. So we have so far 2x to the 4 plus 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. And this is our remainder, which is 4x to the 4, 8x cubed plus 6x squared, blah, 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 divided by x squared minus 2. So this here is the bottom bar that we just calculated here. So that's there. The x squared minus 2, that's our original denominator. And this here is our quotient, which is on the top line. So I'll show you where they are. But that's our top line, which we brought down. That's our quotient so far. And that's our original denominator. So let's have a look. So that's where that all comes from. So now we see we've got a remainder here, which we can still work with because the x squared and the x to the 4, these can still divide. So this one, this one, and this one can still be divided by this x squared minus 2. So we've still got more work to do. So now what we do again is, we again remember this quotient. That doesn't change now, that sets. And what we're going to do is now we're going to calculate this long division as we did before, the x squared minus 2 and so on, and then add that to this quotient. And let's see where that takes us. So starting again from the basics, 4x to the 4 divided by x squared. Okay, 4x to the 4 divided by x squared gives us 4x squared. And 4x squared is now distributed again to the x squared and the minus 2, which we did before. So just going through that, 4x squared times x squared, 4x to the 4, 4x squared times minus 2, minus 8x squared. And now subtracting them again as we did before, those cancel out. This just comes straight down. 6 minus minus 8 is positive 14. And these ones, these just come down because there's nothing below them. Okay, so carrying on, 8x cubed is next. So 8x cubed divided by x squared gives us 8x. So that then goes on the quotient there. This 8x, now distribute it with the x squared and the minus 2. Here we go. 8x cubed minus 16x. So 8x times x squared, 8x cubed, and 8x times minus 2 minus 16x. So there we go. And now we just subtract them from our running total of our remainder. So these cancel out. This one just comes straight down. 14 minus minus 16, positive 30. 4 minus 0 just comes straight down. Okay, so now we move to the third term, which is 6x squared. So 6x squared divided by x squared gives us positive 6. Positive 6 times x squared minus 2. Here we go. 6 times x squared, 6x squared. 6 times minus 2, minus 12. Okay, subtracting them now. 14 minus 6 is 8. 8x squared. 30 comes down. Plus 4 minus minus 12, plus 16. Okay. So now we're coming into some serious calculations now. So that's our original quotient that we got up with before, with a remainder. This is what we've just worked out, our remainder here. And we worked out that this equals 4x squared plus 8x plus 6 plus our new remainder, which is this one. And again, this is what we had in the top line of this calculation here. This corresponds to this one, that's our remainder, and we divide that by our original denominator. So let's go and show you where those all are again, so you just can see that. 8x squared plus 30x plus 16, that's there. This is the quotient of the calculation of this one, which is there, 4x squared plus 8x plus 6, which is there, and x squared minus 2, that's our denominator, which we just keep working with all the time. Okay, so now what we can do is we take this quotient here from our first calculation and add it to this calculation. So I'll put that down here for you. So all these terms are here, these terms are here, and our remainder, still a fraction, is here. So that's what we got so far. And you can see there's some like terms there. There's a positive 2 and a positive 6, 4x squared and a 3x squared and an 8x and a 4x. So we can add them up and just simplify a little bit. So now we've got 2x to the 4 plus 4x cubed plus 7x squared plus 12x plus 8 plus this remainder. And yet again, there is still more work we can do, because this x squared can be distributed with this 8x squared. So let's go ahead and do that now. So, and we know this time there'll only be one calculation, because the 30x and the plus 16, we can't put that with the x squared. Okay, so first term, 8x squared, as we did before, 8x squared divided by x squared is 8. 8 then gets distributed with the x squared minus 2, and that's 8x squared minus 16. Now we subtract that from what we have in the box here. These cancel, that just comes down, and 16 minus minus 16 is positive 32. Okay, so now we've got a new remainder and a new quotient. So the quotient is 8, that's what we always get in the top, and a remainder of 30x plus 32 divided by x squared minus 2. So that's our remainder, and there's no more work to be done with that. So now we can add that to what we calculated earlier. So that's what we simplified earlier. We can add our new calculation here. So that's 8x squared plus 30x plus 16 over x squared minus 2, which is what we just calculated here. That's where that comes from. So that's that calculation there. And what we now know is that 8x squared plus 30x plus 16 divided by x squared minus 2, this calculation here, is this. And that's what we just calculated there. That's what we got. Okay, so now this can be added to these terms here. So, a lot of terms here. Important to make sure you remember all your coefficients and indices and get them in the right order. So 2x to the 4 and so on. Added to this, which is here. We can simplify, we know that, because this 8 and the 8 will cancel, will add together. They're just simple integers, so we can add them up. So then we get to this, and we can see there that the denominator is of a superior power to the numerator. So that is going to complete the question. So our final answer is 2x to the 4 plus 4x cubed plus 7x squared plus 12x plus 16 plus 30x plus 32 divided by x squared minus 2. And that is your final answer. Okay, thanks for watching. And if you prefer the other video, please let me know and leave a comment in the box below. Thank you very much.